All right, guys, we're moving into page 3 of the study guide. We are to the section now where a calculator is allowed. That first section, we couldn't use a calculator, and now we can. All right, so our first problem here for number 16 says, choose the number line which has 6 and 8/10 correctly plotted. So we see these number lines with points on them. There's the 6 and the 7. This one's only about halfway, so that's more like 6.5. This one's really close to the 6, so that's not going to, that's more like 6 and 1/10. This one looks good, 6 and 8/10. That could definitely be 6 and 8/10. And this one has the point before the 6, so we know that's not right. So we're looking at C here for our right answer. All right, the next one, label the parts as independent or dependent. The number of miles driven compared to the amount of gas. So the amount of gas we use is going to depend on the number of miles we drive. So amount of gas is dependent, miles driven is independent. So we're looking for miles driven independent, which is not here, but over here. Number of miles driven independent, amount of gas dependent. Then the amount of gas we use is going to depend on the number of miles that we drive. So that's B. Elena paid $2 per pound of grapes she bought. Write an equation with two variables. It's got to have two variables, and it's an equation, so it's going to have an equal sign. And they tell us the two variables we're going to use, a G and a C. So we're going to have an equal sign, a G, and a C. All right. Write an equation with two variables to show the relationship between the pounds of grapes bought and the total cost. So our cost equals $2 times the pounds of grapes we buy. And so we're looking at D there. Name the quadrant where 2, -1 is located. Well, just a reminder, our quadrants are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this graph, if we were graphing 2, -1, that means we start here, go over 2, this would be -1, so that's in quadrant 4. This one says, number 20, give the coordinates of the following point. So we're going to go from the origin 0, 0 over 1, 2, 3. So our first coordinate will be 3, and down 1, 2, 3, 4. So our second coordinate will be -4. So looking for 3, -4, and that's at C. All right, that's page 3. Tune into the next video for page 4.